In this particular clip with President Obama, can you share with us what's going on?
You'll see that there's a little girl and a little boy, and Rabbi Chava Hecht, who is the most senior female educator in the Chabad movement today. She's been a teacher for over 70 years. What happened was that was the year of girls' education, a special initiative of the First Lady at the time, Michelle Obama. See that there's Rebbetzin Hecht with that little girl and the little boy. And I want to tell you a little bit about that. First, let me tell you how we came to be in the Oval Office that day altogether. The Rebbe proclaimed the year of 1977 as the year of education, and a year dedicated to education. And what happened was that my father had worked with people in the Carter administration to issue a proclamation designating the Rebbe's birthday as Education Day. And every president has signed a proclamation each year on the day that corresponds to the Rebbe's birthday, focusing on the theme of education. And there you have President Trump with a similar proclamation. We had that one where you see President George W. Bush was at the occasion when he signed it, and people call that Bush in front of the Sanhedrin because he kept twisting his neck, speaking to each side till he thought it would be easier if he walked to the other side of the desk. And I might add, that photo was given to me as a gift by the White House press secretary because it was hanging in the West Wing of the White House for a while. And when they took it down from the wall, there's a certain rotation system where White House staffers can obtain the photos. And that one was a gift given to us. But in any event, so starting with President Reagan, the president would have a delegation join him in the Oval Office at least once per term to sign the proclamation themselves. And this one with President Obama was unique in that in the proclamation, which I did not draft, the staff of the White House found writings of the Rebbe where there was a child's educational booklet with a picture of a boy on the cover. And the Rebbe wrote out an edit saying if there's a picture of a boy, there must also be a picture of a girl. And they were very touched by that. And they thought that it would be very appropriate for the president to sign the proclamation during that campaign of girls' education. And we thought it was appropriate in cooperation with the White House that the most senior of all female educators within the Chabad movement, Rabbi Chava Hecht, should be present. Now, how do I choose a boy and a girl to be present? They wanted two children there. So, obviously I would have wanted to bring my own children, but would that be fair to others? We thought that the most fair way to do this would be to ask Tzivos Hashem, which is the children's initiative, the Army of Hashem, where similar to, let's say, what we have here in America called Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts. I don't know what you have in the UK that might be similar, but they earn merits by different mitzvahs that they do, and they rise in rank. So I called the central office of Tzivos Hashem, and I said, who is the most senior officer in Tzivos Hashem, which boy and which girl? So they sent us these two officers who are the most senior ranking. They were both generals in Tzivos Hashem, ranks which they earned through mitzvahs that they performed. And we submitted that to the White House, and they said, perfect, can you please write a memo for the president describing what Tzivos Hashem is and why these two children were picked. By the way, it happens to be that unbeknownst to either of them, the little girl that Rebbetzin Hecht is holding on to is her own great-grandchild.
Wow.
And her grandmother is actually from the Suffren family. That's a British Jewish family, very prominent Chabad family in Britain. And they only found out the night before that each knew that the other would be there. But imagine that, 4 generations of Chabad tradition, of girls' Jewish education. So when the president walked in and met all the rabbis and was introduced, then he turns around to the children and I can't remember if he saluted them, but I definitely remember him addressing them each as general. And as we were leaving the White House, one of the other participants said to me, if only we could have a Farbrengen of the Rebbe, where the Rebbe would discuss the significance of the commander-in-chief of the most powerful army on earth, addressing a general in Tzivos Hashem by their rank. So that's why this
that's very moving, because it's clear that President Obama in this instance took the time to really research and understand who he was talking to the degree of appreciating the background of their rank and acknowledging that, which I think is quite moving. Let's move on to the picture.
Well, just before you move on, I want to tell you, every president receives a briefing before there's a meeting in the Oval Office of who's coming and all the details. The fact that he chose that detail to be one of those he focused on, right, was unique. But let's remember, he had children more or less that age himself at the time.
Right. Right. That is actually very true. That's beautiful. Yes.